All right. Welcome, one and all, to the Off the Rails Sports Podcast. I am your host, John. And if you could, hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot to us. Feel free to leave some comments. I actually made a horrible mistake the other day. I said Albert Pujols didn't have 700 home runs. And I got bitch slapped like I should have, because he does have 703. He doesn't have 696 like I seem to have thought. It's Google said so. Let this be a warning. Don't always trust Google. It could be wrong. All right. Until we have football, we have to figure out something to put into the pieces and fill the space. And let's talk about the U.S. Open. On Tuesday, we had literally one of those great moments. Novak Djokovic, in my opinion, and I do watch a lot of tennis, is the greatest tennis player of all time. Most of the people have said it was probably Federer. He was elegant. He was stylish. He was amazing. But, Djokovic, he literally transcended that time where it was him, Nadal, and Federer. And then, as they faded away with time, he's taken on the new guys, Sinner and Alcaraz, who, in my humble opinion, are going to end up with 10 or 15 majors each. And it's literally going to be stifling for this new generation of tennis players, Taylor Fritz especially. So Taylor Fritz lines it up. New York's behind him. Djokovic teased the crowd. He egged on the crowd. He cajoled the crowd. He taunted the crowd. And he still came away with an amazing victory in the quarterfinals at the U.S. Open. 6-3, 7-5, 3-6, and 6-4. And watching the ESPN coverage, Chris Fowler he just really had a pebble in his shoe about who was the greatest athlete ever. And then when Brad Gilbert and John McEnroe would say Yannick Noah, they would say, Alcaraz, whoever, Monfils, all of a sudden Chris would kind of do a little pivot there and go, but what about touch? What about this? Well, you just said the greatest athlete. You didn't say the greatest tennis player. I mean, Chris wanted it both ways in there. And I think John and Brad deftly, not deptly. This isn't a Johnny Depp video, okay? Handled it with a bomb. And we saw Alcaraz, Djokovic. I'm making mistakes. Go ahead. Beat me up, too. I deserve it. Because obviously I'm an incomp. And Djokovic was in control of this entire match. Yeah, the third set, he had a little breakdown. Taylor Fritz got a little momentum. Couldn't sustain it. Fourth set, went to Djokovic. And now he's on to the semis on Friday against Alcaraz. In my humble opinion, there's Sinner and Alcaraz. They are here. The next guy is Djokovic, and then there's everybody else. And if you would have gave me Djokovic 8 years ago, 30, 31, I think he could beat Alcaraz. I don't think he can at the current 38. He's a supremely conditioned guy. He is experienced. But at some point, especially when we're talking the best tennis in the world, physical ability, physical stamina really does matter. And I don't think anybody in this tournament is going to beat Yannick Sinner. I was wrong at the French. I thought Sinner was going to win. I was wrong at Wimbledon. I thought Alcaraz was going to win. But thank you. I took Sinner at plus 260. Thank you. Thank you, Sinner. So I said one thing, but I bet another. Yeah, I sound like Scott Van Pelt. And just real quick, if you ever watch SportsCenter on Sunday night with Scott Van Pelt, I love Scott Van Pelt, okay? I'm not going to kiss his ass. That guy has a major gambling problem. Let's call it what it is. The bad beat, Stanford Steve is amazing. He is cool. He's just chuckling because he knows, yeah, we just dropped $100,000 tonight. If you look at it in the context of Scott bet on these games with this bookie or with FanDuel, and he's legally allowed to. He is in the Washington, D.C., Maryland area. He can do that legally. So I'm not decrying that. He's not doing anything hokey pokey. But you could tell when he's talking about bad beats or great wins. Like, I could tell watching the other night, he had UTSA against Texas A&M. And they scored. They threw a long touchdown pass at the end of the game to cover. And you could see Scott was like, that was 20 grand. That was straight 20 grand. And I was so happy for him because as far as I'm concerned, every mother effer should take down the books. The books are not our friends. I wish everybody won every bet. Of course, it's impossible, but I always love to see Scott get revved up. Of course, this is off the rails, so we're going to go a little off the rail from the U.S. Open. Djokovic will take on Alcaraz on Friday in the semifinals. Good luck to him. I hope he can make it. I don't think it's going to happen. Alcaraz looked incredibly dominant with a 6-4, 6-2, 6-4 win over Lehecka. Never even heard of the guy. Good luck. We're not going to hear too much about him. We're going to hear about Alcaraz against Sinner in the final. And I think Sinner is going to be your winner. But we shall see. Sinner laces him up on Wednesday night, tonight. And let's get to it in the world of Major League Baseball. And we are getting into the dog days. We're getting into we're coming out of the dog days, excuse me. And now we are getting in the home stretch. And now we're going to see who's really made of what. The Dodgers, of course, 28 games over 500. They lose to the Pirates 9-7. Chandler gets the win, that super rookie that the Pirates brought up. Maybe they're going to just, not support him like they have Skeens. It's just amazing. They have they have the best pitcher in baseball. They got a kid who has the potential to be a really solid number 2 or number 3. And yet they don't get any hitting. They don't do anything to help the organization. Jesus H. Christ, man. What are you doing, guys? What are you doing? Just stupid. And let's talk about the Mets. They rally and they beat the Tigers. Tigers have lost 6 of their last 8. They lost 12 out of 14 basically at the beginning of the month. Then they rallied. They won like 10 out of 13. And now they seem to be going sideways. I don't know. If Skubal isn't pitching for them, these guys got some serious goddamn problems, All right, the Blue Jays rallied, beat the Reds 12-9. Varland got the win. I don't really know who that is, so obviously I'm off the rails. It doesn't mean I'm super informed, okay? Red Sox, Roman Anthony took an MRI about his quad. We'll see how that all turns out. The Red Sox beat the Guardians 11-7. Stanton got the win. He's 2-4 with a 3.4 ERA. The Nationals beat the Marlins in a game nobody really gives a crap about. The Rays beat the Mariners, and the Mariners are fading quicker than my blockbuster stock. They were in line to get the wild card, and they are literally shooting themselves in the foot. And I will say, 2 months ago, Brian was touting them. And, hey, Brian knows his stuff. That is a smart cat. And he was like, oh, they're going to get there. And I said, man, I just don't trust them. I don't trust them. They were 12 games over 500 a year ago, and they somehow choked it out. Well, now we're starting to see the real Mariners. Yeah, how you doing? Angels beat the Royals 5-1. Ferris gets the win. The Cubs beat the Braves. The Braves are 62-77, and Jesus H. Christ, how can they be this bad? I mean, I love me some Atlanta Braves. They do things right. They have a great organization. They have a great farm system. And Jesus, they still F it. I mean, I just cannot get my head around how bad they are right now. Really. Umaga gets the win for the Cubs, 9-6, 3.15. He's having a really good year. He is really lacing them up for Ross and the buddies over there in the Cubby land. The White Sox got another win, 51 wins for the year. Kudos to them, 12-3 over your Twins. Martin gets the win. He's 6-9 with a 4.0 ERA. Cardinals eked out one against the Athletics, 2-1. The Yankees had a grand slam. They beat the Astros 7-1. Fried gets the win. I thought he was going to be a dark horse candidate for the Cy Young. I think Crochet and I think Skubal are head and shoulders above everybody else. But I think if Fried can put together 2 or 3 really good starts, he might get in the top 3 for the Cy Young voting. Giants seem to be rallying lately. Devers hit another home run. Logan Webb gets your win. He's 13-9, and they beat the Rockies 7-4. We are going to see if the Rockies are going to get to the vaunted 42 wins. I don't know. The Orioles beat the Padres 6-2. Wells gets the win. And in the nightcap, the Diamondbacks rallied to beat the Rangers 5-3. 3-run home run for Marte. Beeks gets the win. And it stops their 6-game winning streak. We'll see what happens to the Rangers going forward. And that's it for Off the Rails Sports Podcast for Tuesday. And please hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you soon on Off the Rails Sports Podcast.